So if you've ever investigated a condo claim, you know they can be a little bit tricky. They're definitely not like your run-of-the-mill single family homes.
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag.
Thank you guys for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Hra Declarations and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with a toddler, all the things. So if that's something that interests you, go on ahead and click on that subscribe button below. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. All right, so today we are talking about condos. How do you investigate a condo claim? Like, these claims used to be a complete pain in my ass when I first started out in the homeowners department. They can be a little bit difficult because there are two different parties involved. You've got the condo owner, which is essentially the unit owner, and then you have the HOA insurance. So you're trying to figure out like what's covered by the HOA, what's covered by the insurance, when do I step in, when do I tell the person to go and talk to their HOA. It's a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna kind of give you like a little crash course on how to investigate. If you are new to claims, property claims specifically, or if this is something that you struggle with, I do feel like this video will help you. So if you fit into any of those categories, definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to discuss is, as far as investigating a condo claim, is you want to make sure that you are confirming the exact cause of loss. The reason why this is important is because, as I stated prior, there's two parties involved. You have the HOA and then you have the condo unit. So you want to make sure that you can capture what exactly caused the loss, because that will determine if the HOA needs to step in and take care of some things, or if it's completely on the unit owner. So I'll give you a couple examples to make it make more sense. So let's say you have a busted pipe and it's determined to be a common area pipe that busted. Common area meaning this pipe services more than one unit. So it's something that it's like basically owned by the HOA, or the building, should I say, and it is something that they are supposed to maintain. So most insurance policies for condos will take care of the inside of the unit for the unit owner, and I'll get to kind of like more of that in a second. But a lot of times in those cases, the insurance company will be able to cover the damages to the unit, but obviously the pipe would need to be fixed by the HOA's insurance, or not insurance, I'm sorry, but by the HOA. If the loss originated from inside of the unit, so let's say maybe the tenant's washing machine overflowed or something and it caused damage, then that is now going to be the responsibility of the unit owner to take care of that washing machine. So you really want to like capture, because you're going to need this for your notes, and anybody that audits your file is going to ask you if you got the exact cause of loss. You want to try to secure any plumbing reports or any vendor reports that like actually state what happened, so you can have that for your file, because that's going to help you determine the next piece of your investigation. So in closing, make sure that you capture that actual cause of loss so you can determine kind of what you need to do next. Okay, so the next piece of investigating a condo claim is kind of complicated just because of like how detailed it can be, and I'm going to try to make it as brief as I possibly can because I don't want to confuse anybody and I want to just really give you an overview in this video. But the second thing that you're going to want to do is ask your insured for a copy of their HOA's insurance declarations page. You're going to also want to ask them for a copy of their CC&Rs. This is the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. The reason why this is important is because these documents are going to tell you whose insurance is primary. Is it their insurance, their meaning the unit owner, your insured? Are they primary? Or is the HOA's insurance primary? So I'm going to kind of tell you exactly what you're looking for, surface level. So for the HOA declarations page, this is important because you want to know what their HOA insurance deductible is. This is key because if their deductible is really high compared to your insurance deductible with your insurance company, you're likely going to be handling that claim. Reason being is their insurance won't even be able to make a payment unless they meet a certain deductible. So some losses are really small, like maybe it's a loss that's $5,000 and their HOA insurance deductible is $10,000. So a lot of times the way that'll be handled is your insurance company will pay up to the HOA's deductible if the CC&R state that they are primary, which I'll get to in a second, but we will pay up to their deductible and then advise them to go on ahead and file a claim with their insurance for the difference. Now, if the HOA deductible is the same or less than what the insurance deductible is, and the CC&Rs determine that they are primary, then we would recommend that the insured reach out to their HOA and have them investigate the claim and open up a claim. Now, there are some cases where the HOA will deny they'll deny responsibility, or they will decline to open one. If that happens, we're not going to just leave the customer hanging. So typically with most companies, we would ask for something in writing from the HOA saying that they're not going to open up a claim, and then we would just move forward with coverage as normal. If need be, we might subrogate, meaning we might go after the HOA after everything is paid out to recoup our money, but the goal is to take care of the customer as soon as possible. So that's what the declarations page is going to be for. The CC&Rs are going to specifically state everyone's duties. So just to kind of make it easy, there's two types of CC&Rs that I typically come across. The first one is like just very simple. It's the building unit. The unit owner will be responsible for everything on the inside of their unit. So any, floor finishes, walls, ceilings, all that stuff. They're responsible for everything that's inside of the unit, and then everything outside the unit that will be considered a common area is responsibility of the HOA. Now, there are some CC&Rs that state that the HOA insurance is the primary for even the inside of the unit if the building materials are original. So meaning that the materials are original to the building when it was built. Most condos, especially depending on the year that the building was built, most condos aren't going to have the same furnishings because people move in, they decide, oh, there's carpet here, I don't want carpet, I want to have laminate. Just that right there, that's an upgrade. So then the insured that is buying that unit is going to be responsible for that flooring, for example. So that's something that you're going to want to document and make sure that you're reading thoroughly in the file. And also when you document your file, you want to put like kind of the area where you found this language. So let's say it's on page 6, section A or something. It states that the HOA is primary, blah, 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 blah. You want to make sure that you're writing that in your notes. So if anybody comes to take a look to see, okay, why are we covering it? They can see this adjuster did their due diligence. They investigated and they told me exactly where to go find it in the document. So just to kind of close that up, because again, I didn't want to make it too complicated, and I hope that I haven't, but you're going to want to secure those documents, because then that's going to tell you if you should just handle the claim as is, or if you should recommend they go and reach out to their HOA so they can open up a claim and cover those damages. Okay, so the third part of the investigation, and this is going to be assuming that you are handling the claim, you meaning you being the insurance company. Assuming that you're handling the claim, you want to make sure that they are aware of any like policy limits that could potentially affect like the cost. What I specifically mean is their building limits. So the building limit is going to be what would pay for any repairs to the actual home, like to building materials, so drywall, flooring, any cabinets, things like that. You want to make sure that you're looking at these limits and kind of looking at the loss. Once you get experience, you'll kind of be able to tell by eyeballing it, like if you're going to come close to those limits. I can give you a quick example. I had a claim very recently with a condominium insured, and they only had $15,000 in coverage limits for the building materials. The problem was that they had continuous flooring. It was like engineered wood, and engineered wood can run kind of expensive. So they had continuous engineered wood throughout this like whole section. So we were only a portion of it was affected, but in order for it to match, we would need to replace all of it. There was also some tile items that needs to be replaced, and there was like a vanity and a bathroom. Like it was a kind of sizable loss. And when I prepared their estimate, it was at like $20,000. So we essentially have maxed out on their building limits, and then anything over that, they would have to pay out of pocket. So this is something that you're going to want to kind of keep in mind, because you want to keep the insured involved and keep them informed throughout the process so they can kind of wrap their mind around, oh, I might have to pay something. Not every condo owner gets the additional limits. Most insurance companies will offer a section where you get additional limits for additional premium. So maybe they purchased $20,000 extra in coverage. That's something that you're going to want to take a look at, because they might have a base amount of $15,000, but they might have like purchased like an increase for another $20K. So in that case, if this customer had have done that, then I would have had more than enough to take care of their claim. So you want to make sure that you're looking at those things, and also remember that there are different limits for each thing. So in this case, this same claim, this customer had a bunch of like personal property that was damaged by like a broken hose. And so although we were only able to pay $15K on the building portion, we had like, I want to say close to $50K in coverage for the personal property. So that's something too that you can kind of explain to the insured, like, hey, you know, we might not be able to take care of all of this, but you do have, you know, more than enough coverage here. So just kind of, you know, keep that in mind, and make sure that, you know, if you see an issue, or once you see that the claim potentially might exceed it, make sure that you're having that conversation with the customer so they're aware, so they can start making arrangements. And then also too, I like to give them the option of, you know, me cashing them out. A lot of insurance companies will give you the autonomy to make that decision as the adjuster, as you see fit. Some will have you go and talk to management, but in this particular situation, once I created my preliminary estimate, and then even with emergency services that kind of needs to be done, I had them prepare an estimate for me of just what it would look like. I was able to kind of cash her out so she could address the repairs as she saw fit. So maybe she could find somebody cheaper, you know, maybe she could, you know, do something where it wouldn't go over that amount, or she could kind of control the cost. But we, as an insurance company, do owe you for like what work needs to be done up to your policy limit. So just make sure that you're kind of keeping that in mind, and keeping the customer aware of like what's going on throughout the process as you get more information. Okay, so the last one is pretty practical, but you'd be surprised how many people want you to kind of baby them and just do everything. And although you're there to help them throughout the process, these are still grown-ass adults, and they're going to have some responsibility in the home that they purchase. So my number 4 tip is to make sure that you're very clear to them, your customer, on what their duties are and what your duties are. The biggest thing I see is with securing the HOA documents. Now, some people will have these documents kind of like saved on a flash drive or somewhere in a file, just in case. These documents are given to the tenants when they move in. They're given to them like at the time of escrow, from what I understand. So they're given these documents before they move in. They have them. They may have misplaced them. You know, some people may have a PDF, some people may have them like physical copies, and it's a huge document, the CC&R. So if they have, see if you can get it electronically. But sometimes people will have these, you know, just kind of like filed away somewhere or whatever, but they have them. It is their responsibility to get you these documents. That's a part of the conditions of the policy. They're supposed to provide you with the information. Now, in some cases, depending on what's going on, depending on the circumstances, I may be able to assist them with reaching out to their HOA to see if I can get the documents, because I've seen that before where people will reach out to their HOA and the HOA is lagging. And I can't do anything until I get those documents. So as the insurance adjuster, sometimes I will step in if I have the time and reach out to the HOA and let them know, hey, you know, your tenant filed a claim and I need these documents in order to make my coverage decision. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but make sure that they understand that ultimately it is their responsibility to get you these documents. Your responsibility is to investigate the claim, make sure that you afford them all the coverages that they are due under their policy, because they do pay premium for it. Premium meaning their, you know, what they pay every month for their insurance. They pay for it. So you want to make sure that as the adjuster, you're investigating with integrity, making sure that they're aware of all of their coverages. But as the insured, they still have a portion that they are responsible for. They need to provide you with any documents that the HOA provided them. If, for example, if a plumber came out that the HOA sent and they have a copy of the plumbing report, it's their responsibility to get that to you. You don't need to be chasing the HOA to get these things. This is their HOA. This is their home. So they need to get you those documents. With the CC&Rs and declarations page, the onus is on them. If they've had any vendors in there before they got insurance involved and we're asking for documentation so we can investigate their claim, it is their duty to get it to you. So you just want to make sure that you're letting them know. And this is really a tip, honestly, for any type of claim, but especially with condo claims where it's so it's so complicated with the 2 different insurances. You want to make sure that they know, hey, like, you need to go get this. I'm going to do this for you, but you need to go and do this, and you need to make sure I have this. And the sooner you get it, the sooner I can get your claim taken care of. So just kind of set that tone in the beginning. Like, obviously do it nicely, you know, you ain't got to be mean about it. But sometimes you have to remind people, especially when they feel like things are taking a long time, if you're missing something that is their responsibility, you want to bring it back and let them know, hey, these your people. I'm gonna need you to, you know, reach out, do your due diligence, whatever. Help me help you, essentially. So yeah, just make sure that they're aware of what they need to do to help their claim along if they would like to get paid. All right, you guys. So that is all I have for you today. Again, this video is something that I really wanted to do for my new adjusters or my adjusters that are struggling with this, because investigating condo claims can be like, it can be a lot. It can be very stressful. It's so much more that goes into it than investigating like a single family home or even a landlord policy. I feel like with condos, because you have those 2 different entities, the HOA and the building, you know, building unit owner, because you have those 2 different entities, things can get tricky. And then sometimes they're going at it, you know, for whatever reason. You've got some HOAs that are better than others, and you know, you have some customers that are more helpful than others. So they can be like a little tricky. They're not always as cut and dry as other claims. So it's really important that if you're gonna be working in the homeowner's department, that you get comfortable with investigating condo claims and really lean on like your team. Ask your colleagues for, you know, just different tips and tricks that they use, you know, to investigate these type of claims. I had a coworker back in the day that, you know, it would take me a while sometimes to get the HOA documents, for example. And she would just tell me like, oh, you know, sometimes you can go on a website, or sometimes you can talk to another colleague that may have had a claim in the building that you're working at, and they may have a copy of those documents that you're looking for, those kind of things. So you just got to get creative and just, you know, get to a point where like you're comfortable. I think too, it helps to like just kind of make a checklist. Like once you've had like a difficult condo claim or something, kind of like write down somewhere or type somewhere, you know, what you did to investigate and how you did, you know, whatever, just so you kind of have like a reference for the future. And then you never know, you might end up being able to help somebody. Like hopefully I'm being able to help you guys, because there was a point in time where I thought like, what the F did I get myself into? Like, this is crazy. So anywho, if you enjoyed this video and if it helps you, definitely go on ahead and give me a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you have not subscribed and you made it this far, come on sis or bro, please go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.
You mad that they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never knew you.